When we go on a house tour, we are really comprehensive. We want to make sure that everything is positive. We want to make sure we point out any catastrophes. And well, this place we're looking at today is nothing short of perfect. You kind of catching on to what I'm doing here. My buddy Alan, also known as the Catio guy, is the genius who is responsible for the Catio that I built for Poppy Pickle and Dove. Well, today he is going to take us on the perfect Catio tour. It's his favorite project that he's ever taken on. One thing I have learned about Alan is where people see just an empty, unusable space, he sees the perfect spot for a Catio. It's like he's got cat-like reflexes, senses, something. He speaks with cats. He's the cat whisperer. He's the cat meowerer. I don't know. Anyway, make sure you hit that subscribe button and check out the tour of my own Catio in the Catio Goals video. But I think you're gonna love this.
Thanks, Jonathan. I can't wait to show you our latest Catio, or I should say Catio compound, as it's comprised of 5 separate Catio enclosures and an indoor catified room. The backstory of the cats at this house is that their guardians own the Per-Made Cat Cafe in Camarillo, California, where they've gotten hundreds of cats adopted. However, many of the cats could not be adopted because they were special needs, were deaf or blind, and many of those cats ended up here at this house. Let me walk you through the different components, starting with the up and down, back and forth garden run, which connects to this extra large Cat Disneyland enclosure, which has a chimney on the side that leads up to a massive catified room on the 2nd story. Coming back this way, attaching the large Catio to a patio Catio on the other side of the house is another up and down run. And finally, above that Catio is a 2nd story screened in balcony Catio. The process for building a Catio starts with me coming to the property and walking all around the house, discussing the pros and cons to all the different locations. Hopefully we settle on a spot, then talk about shape and size. Similar to real estate, it's all about location, location, location. And there are certain things we're looking for in that location. First and foremost, we want to get the cats outside and into the fresh air. But a close second is going to be sun. Cats run about 10 degrees hotter than humans, and they love to bask in the sun. And don't worry about getting too much sun for your cats. Cats are able to regulate their own temperature, and if they get too hot, they'll just go inside. Another important thing to consider is elevation. It's much more important to go high with a Catio than to go wide. The higher you go, the more different levels you can have inside. Next up, we want to get cats next to nature, where there are trees and plants and bushes and flowers. Ultimately, we're trying to make it fun and stimulating for the cats, but also aesthetically pleasing for the humans. All right, let's go check out these Catios. So we're inside the really big Catio right now, and it's what I call Cat Disneyland, where we really try to have as many different cat elements to keep the cats on their paws as possible. So right here we start with cat steps leading up to a mid-level shelf. And by the way, here's a climbing pole with a fireman's circle. The cats can double back this way and head into the run that connects this Catio to the patio Catio on the other side of the house. Continuing this way is a cat ladder, which gets them up to a floating birdcage bed. And then coming over here is a synthetic rope pole bridge. Back this way we have floating steps leading to the ground, and then a couple high perches, one of which serves as the entryway to the garden run. And finally, there's the opening to the corner chimney that leads up to the really large catified room. So one really important cat tip is that you never want to have a dead end, because you don't want the cats to have to push through one another, which could cause a confrontation and potentially a fight. So I wish I could say that I do have an inner cat, but what it really comes down to is that I have built so many of these, and over 8+ years and 500+ Catios, I've really learned what works and what doesn't work. So we're now in the patio Catio, which was part of phase 1 of our build along with the screened-in balcony above. These two took about 2 weeks to build, whereas the most recent build of the large Catio, the garden Catio, the connecting run, and the Catification room, those took about 5 to 6 weeks to build. All told, for both phases of the project, we're looking at about 7 to 8 weeks total. One thing I do want to point out is that for our framing here and all along, we use redwood, and we recommend, depending on where you live, that you either use redwood or cedar. Both of them are very strong, pest resistant, and water resistant. So excellent lumber, and they're both very malleable as well. So with that, this Catio is similar to the large Catio. There are a couple differences. One is that on the high bed perches, we use carpeting. This is a safety measure. It also is a little more comfortable for the cats and allows them to leave their scent behind. Another difference is the peekaboo bubble bed in this one, which is awesome to look at, especially for humans. So this shelf is the access point to the connecting run to the really large Catio. And what's nice about the run is that there are access doors on both ends so that the cat guardians can control who has access to the run, or if they want, they can even open up both sides to all cats. So we are upstairs in the catified room above the large Catio. So by catification, ultimately what we're trying to do is make your home more cat friendly. And we use the walls to allow them to jump and climb and go up high and perch and look down at their humans and potential prey. Gives them more room, more space, and allows them to use their natural instincts. So cats love to climb, and having a 10-foot climbing pole is essential. We use synthetic rope, not sisal rope. And that's mainly because in catios, if the rope gets wet, sisal will get moldy and ruin very quickly, whereas synthetic rope will last forever. So some shelves, a run here leading to the horizontal pole bridge. Behind here, we have some floating steps to the ground, followed by a peekaboo bubble bed, a cat ladder, a high perch at the window, and then we come over here to a half a birdcage bed, leading to 6 stackable cubbyhole beds with cat cutouts. So another thing you see in this catified room is, once again, we have a cat superhighway. And the cats can actually circumvent the entire room without touching the ground. Furthermore, there are multiple ways up and down each wall. They never have to push through another cat. They can always head in a different direction. So once the Catio is complete, you want to get the cats into the Catio. Pin up the cat door. Whether you have 1 flap or 2 flaps, you want to tape them up or pin them up. So you're creating a tunnel through the window or the wall into the Catio. Then you want to lure the cats out into the Catio with high value treats. Let them go at their own pace. And if you have multiple cats, as long as one cat figures it out, the other ones will follow suit shortly. Now there are Catios for everyone, no matter what your budget is. If your budget is small, then try to do a DIY Catio. And there's lots of information online. You can look at my website. You can look at Cat Safe at Home is an excellent resource. And you can even buy like DIY pamphlets online that show you how to build it. There are prefabricated Catios, lots of good companies that you can buy kind of fancy cages from. And then after that, there are Catio builders all over the world. But no matter where you are or how much you can spend, you can find a good Catio solution. Well, thanks for joining me on this Catio compound tour. I've had so much fun, and I hope you've enjoyed it as well.
How cool is that? A huge thank you to Alan from Custom Catios. You are the best at what you do. I just think this tour was absolutely closetive. Let's scratch that. Let's not put that in. Make sure you subscribe. Put your comments below. What other spaces should we tour? Maybe a giraffe-io? I actually have been in a giraffe-io, by the way. Kenya, it was amazing. There's a hotel attached to where the giraffes are. I don't know if we have the budget to go and do that, but dog-ios, there's probably lots of those. Anyway, you guys give me the ideas. I'll make it happen.